All right, so who do I have here with me today?
My name is Raquel, or like people call me Rainbow.
Rainbow?
Yeah.
All right, Raquel / Rainbow. Nice to meet you, first of all.
Nice to meet you.
I gotta ask you, what's your age and your current living situation?
So I'm 31, and like I live with my nana all the way out in like Maricopa.
Yeah.
But like this is my home, so like I come out here all the time, and I kind of just make my own because work isn't always the best.
Yeah.
So like right now, like I'm hotel hopping, but I'm like so I kick it here.
Mm-hmm.
But like I do have like somewhat of a stable like situation. Like my dogs are safe.
That's awesome.
So
Gotta have the dog safe.
Yeah, I used to walk around all around here with my dogs and my cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was rough. So I'm glad that they're safe. But you know, I'm just kind of doing my own thing, trying to make as much money as possible and stuff like that.
Since you're elaborating on money, without being too specific or trying to get yourself in trouble, what do you do to make money?
So
fly a sign, or?
I kind of go like off of my my charisma.
Mm-hmm.
So like I know a lot of people, and if somebody needs like a favor or something like that, or if I can help them out, like, you know, like sometimes I hook people up with rooms, like, or if I don't need my room for like the rest of the night, then I'll sell it off to somebody who might need it.
Awesome.
You know,
Yeah.
Or like if they need a shower. You know, like I have connections to like other stuff.
Okay.
Nothing too crazy, like no felonies or anything
just
like
whatever
that.
you got to do to get money.
Yeah, basically, I like to help people. So I mean, if it helps me, then I'll help them.
Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, how long have you been displaced or hotel hopping, so to speak?
Since I want to say like a little bit, like mid-October.
Mid-October.
It's not my first time around though.
Okay.
The first time was a lot worse, like in essence, but like because I was like homeless, whereas like I was able to do a little bit better this time by like, you know, getting my money together.
For sure.
But yeah, I got an eviction in October, and so I had to like pack up all my stuff, throw it in a storage unit, and then like pack up my dogs and my cat, and like let's hit the books, you know.
The road. Man, do you know what I always find it not amusing, but it's sad that why do people that are displaced or out that are already doing bad, why do they steal credentials? Like your ID, social security card, things of that nature. That's the worst thing I feel homeless or displaced people should steal. If you're gonna steal some money, $1 that I drop, I can understand that, but your credentials.
Because like it's so I think the way a lot of them see it is like the longer that you're displaced, the less ties you have to like materialistic things. So you don't even have that attachment to people, like to keeping money in essence. Like you don't have like a savings account or thing, and you haven't really worked, you know, for months or years or whatever to build that up.
Yeah.
So they don't have that attachment, and then they don't see like jail time or anything like that as a problem. You know, I mean, that's 3 hots in a cot, you know what I'm saying? So like if they catch it, they catch it. But if not, you know, then it's just that it's that luck of being on the streets, you know, like you're constantly moving, and you know, like a lot of people don't use their real names, they go by street names and stuff like that.
Of course, yeah.
So like it's just not that big of a deal to them, and they don't feel bad about the people that they steal from because they don't even know them.
Yeah.
You know, and if they do know them, then I mean, they're like, well, that person's probably never gonna find out that it's me.
Yeah.
You know, like I've seen a lot of people do it, and I always have like a weird feeling towards it. Like I'm like, like that's good for you, dude. Like I don't ever like put myself into that shit because like even though I have shit credit and everything like that, like I wouldn't want my hard work taken away like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like the trip you on down to the meal table mentality. You know, I heard that from a displaced friend of mine, and I thought that was unique, you know, because it's true. You know, trip you on way down to the lunch line, you know. But we're both gonna make it there, but at the same time, it's like, man, I gotta trip you first.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like there's still gonna be the same amount of food or same, you know, but I want to get there first because maybe I'll have a second go around or whatever it is, you know.
Yeah. So I've told you about the law that passed in Tempe, Mesa, and Phoenix. You know, it's an urban camping law. How do you feel about that law, and what kind of constraints does that bring on yourself and others, and just anyone, have you noticed the tension?
Yeah, like, so, like, just to make sure that I understand, it's like basically like you can't do like urban camping like anywhere. Okay, like they just don't want it anywhere.
Basically, they're outlaw in a sense, to how I see it, and this is just an opinion. It's like they're trying to make it illegal to be displaced or homeless.
Well, then they should do something to make it easier to have a place.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many places out there that have started like tiny home initiatives, or you know, like even a spot where it's just like this is maybe it's not the best situation, but like it's an area where they can all go and just be there and camp, do whatever they need. It's like you know, like I call it like a sheet suburban.
Yeah, almost like a shelter, so that you guys can charge your guys' phones,
right,
take a shower if need be, heat up a pot of coffee.
I mean, 'cause that would bring so many jobs as well. Like, then you got people who could work there. Yeah. Like, there's ways to get around it. They just don't want to. Yeah, so they think that basically if we make it harder for them to be displaced, they'll go to other places. You know what I mean? And it's like, how do we get to other places if we're stuck here in the first place?
Yeah.
You know, like, and we don't have any money. Like, there's plenty of places that, you know, you can't go to the bathroom in some places after 10, you know, 10 and 5.
Like,
so that means that you're gonna be stuck going to the bathroom outside. Well, then boom, there's a charge right there.
Yes,
you know, I think that they wanna push the prison system, honestly, because then that's taxes. That's, you know, taxes for them. It's money for them.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's all about money, and it's like, well, if you can't pay rent, then you're gonna pay us rent in another way. You know what I mean? Like, it's low key. It's modern slave labor.
Man,
you know,
awful.
and that's the way I see it. I mean, I don't know if people paid attention in history, but like, you know, like when you go back to like, you know, any of the wars and stuff, when America decided like, hey, we're gonna displace like Japanese Americans, you know, Holocaust survivors, anywhere. Like, we had ghettos here before it was just, you know, before the ghettos became projects. You know what I mean?
Yes,
and even that was a study in itself.
You're very smart and articulate.
Right,
yes,
like, so I mean, they see how it goes, and they're like, I know we can make money off of this.
Somehow,
so instead of having a solution, because there's no money in a solution, just like there's no cure for all these diseases, they make money off of sick people, not healthy people.
Facts.
You know, so my thing is like,
said.
if that's the case, you know, instead of getting so upset that there are people like this out there, that they should be upset that there isn't enough space, or there isn't enough like wealth to pass around, but there is. They just don't want to give it away. So they have a problem with themselves and they don't even know it.
True. So you elaborated on the restrooms. I don't know if you're familiar with Phoenix. There is no restrooms in Phoenix. Anywhere from, like, we'll just say 68th Street all the way to 100 and something. The only places that allow you to use restrooms would be like a Walmart. Yeah, like a Walmart, a Home Depot.
Yeah.
But like any fast foods and Circle K's and things of that nature, they do not have restrooms, nor do they allow you to use restrooms.
Yeah, like I got lucky a couple weeks ago. I was hanging out with a friend, and we actually had to go pick up two of her friends, but they live in Phoenix, and I unfortunately had to go to the bathroom. You know, like, and so luckily, like, I looked clean, and we both, like, we didn't have any issues. You know, like, we didn't look like we were displaced. You know? And we spoke well and all that stuff, but we still had to give it a thing like, oh, hey, we're from out of town, and we're not familiar. Like, is there any place that? And like the lady was nice enough to let us use the bathroom. But I mean, like, they make it seem like these bathrooms are immaculate and they really don't want,
anyway.
You know, like, like they're so nice that like they can't have dirty people go in them. And I'm like, and I went to that bathroom, and one, like, they don't even, like, their products were everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, they don't even have good sanitizing products, or like the bottles to use them. I mean, like they had vinegar in their back room with their cleaning product. And I was like, and I'm sitting there like, why do you guys have so much vinegar? Like, there's nothing even in here that requires vinegar. Like, y'all barely sell it. But I mean, there was graffiti everywhere. Like, the toilet was dirty. Like, so was the sink.
Probably,
and I'm like, what are y'all hiding? Like,
nasty stuff. You know?
You know. So I think it's crazy. Like, but they also get mad when, you know, they find you on the side of the building taking a piss, and it's like, well, what do you want me to do? Like,
I have nowhere to go.
Right. You know, if there were public, like, I mean, we got porta potties everywhere for construction workers. I mean, if that's the case, then put a fucking porta potty somewhere.
Yes,
you know, like,
I agree.
Put it out like bus stops. I mean, maybe not as many, but, you know, every couple of miles.
Yeah,
every couple of miles, like, put that up somewhere. I mean, a hand washing station, like, whatever it is, you know. It's there's ways to help without having to make it costly, you know. And especially when you think like I was saying, like with the like if you were to make like, you know, these shelters or these camps and like, you know, tiny home places, like that employs people.
Yes,
you know,
ma'am.
like
Yes,
you could have your shower monitors, people who clean them. You know, like they got that shit in prison. You know, you got your trustees.
Why can't you do it here?
Right.
Yeah.
So why can't you do it out here? I mean, like they got cooling stations and charging stations for the heat. So I mean, homeless people go there all the time, and there's no problem. But God forbid it be at night or in the winter or whatever it is, and it's like, oh no, can't do that.
Yeah,
it's the same damn
awful.
thing.
Yeah, it's just awful the things they do here. So I want to touch on your family. What was life like prior to you being, you know, hotel hopping, displaced? Do you have family who loves you and knows about your current situation? And if so, how do they feel about it? And do you communicate with them, things of that nature?
I probably could communicate a bit more. Like, I'm sure that they would like me to communicate more, but at the same time, it becomes hard because when your family doesn't know what it's like to do anything like this or to be in a spot like that, then that's what makes it really, really hard, especially when, like, you know, you got a mom who's a good girl. And, you know, my dad, he's real religious, and, like, he just helped me out a little bit. He's helped me more in this, like, the last couple months than I ever thought he actually would. But then again, I still get that, you know, like, that chatter, like, where's my money at, or this, and I'm like, it's not like I'm doing very well, like, you know, my goal is to pay you back in this time, but you gotta understand something. A lot of things happen in, you know, 8 hours or, you know, even 2.
Yes,
like, and, you know, like I got a trespassing charge for some BS, and then that was why I actually couldn't pay my dad back. But and that was that's when I really started to pick up on how they're starting to treat people that are displaced. Because like it didn't make any sense why waste the resources to give me a charge like that, to have me go to court and all that. Like you're
homeless,
right? And there's plenty of other people that are doing way worse, like literal murderers, and like at the same time that you're bugging me about trespassing in a room that was already paid for. You know what I mean? Like and they get so busy about the money. You know, and it's like, hey, like, I mean, I'll have the money, or if, you know, like, I had one place, like, bear down on me because I was, like, $10 short on a room upgrade when I had already paid for another room. And so I was like, well, why can't you just give me that room again? Like, I fully paid for that one, you know, but they kept hounding me, and it was, like, the anxiety or, like, you know, being all over someone, it doesn't make it easier for them to accomplish whatever they're trying to do.
It's awful,
you know,
man.
So I couldn't think enough to even get the transfer to go through, and then they wouldn't let me go to Walmart just to go get the money anyways. And I was like, yo, like that's crazy. But my family, they want me to do better, but they also don't like. I have a past, and so like, you know, sometimes they're worried about like, oh, like is this really for drugs, or you know, like what are you doing to actually maintain this lifestyle, like. You know, but then again, like they don't want to know. You know what I mean? Like, and if you keep talking about your problems, then they're just like, well, that's all you do is you talk about the negative. You're so down, like, you know, you can't be so negative and feel like, oh, it's never gonna go anywhere. And it's like, yeah, but do you see how slow the train is moving? You know what I mean? Like the first time I came out and I was staying in Maricopa, I had a job that I could transfer to. So I transferred from one Walmart to another, going across states, so I had a job. You know how hard it is to get a job in Maricopa, especially without transportation?
Real hard.
It's impossible.
Period. It's hard, period.
So, I mean, I put in tons of applications, and I haven't even got one call back. I'm saying my resume isn't that bad. You know what I mean?
Good. Probably better than most people.
It's probably better than a lot of people that are applying, and it's all customer service. So what you mean I can't work at Home Depot? Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, and that's a bit of a walk for me anyways, but I'm still willing to go out and do it because it's a paycheck. But, you know, like, my family, like, they look at it like, oh, you're just not trying hard enough. And it's like, yeah, but it seems like my effort is never good enough.
Never.
You know,
never
so,
good enough.
Yeah.
It always goes unnoticed. You know, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's all good. You know, like in a sense, you kind of get used to it because it's kind of like been like that since I was a kid. You know,
so
like
you're numb now.
Yeah, exactly. And like it gets to me every once in a while, like because I have depression. And I've got, you know, like borderline personality disorders. So I mean, there are days that it's better than others, but I mean. Every day that I don't, you know, like make that final cut, you know, like I think that's a good day. Even if I am sad or I am, whatever. Like, at least I'm still here spending time with you guys. Or
stay strong, girl.
yeah,
You got this.
you know, and they might not see it as a whole lot of effort, you know, but nowadays, especially when you got online applications everywhere, and or like, you know, you don't have the best clothes to go and interview with.
Yeah,
like they think that
hard,
yeah. Like, oh, because you came in jeans, like we're not gonna hire you because you don't even care about the job. And it's like, no, I just don't have the fucking money to pay for the clothes yet. You know, it's like, give somebody a chance, or don't. I don't judge people on
people
like the way
need a
that
hand
they look
up,
all the
not
time.
a hand down.
Exactly.
Period,
you know, like everybody needed help at some point because they wouldn't be where they were without the help.
Facts,
Whether you're a
100.
self-made millionaire, please, even if you aren't, you had help along the way.
Always.
Because or people in power. Like people don't realize that when you're a person in power, you only have as much power as they give you. So if we're giving you the respect, we're giving you the power, we're giving you the money that shows that, it's because we're willing to give that to you.
That's 100%
the second that we stop that, you no longer have
you're
power.
a fish out of water.
Exactly. You're just in the same boat, because you could buy everything in the world, but that doesn't mean that it's gonna like actually correlate to anything. Like,
true,
you know, you could
very
walk
true.
into some dude's house and be like, damn, you got a lot of nice artwork, like that, you know, all this other stuff, because they got money in the bank. But what happens when you take away all that money in the bank and they're left with just that stuff?
They're regular.
Then they gotta resell it. They gotta do all this stuff. Like, oh, so you don't have as much money as you thought, huh?
Very true.
You know, and if everybody just realized that if we just gave more than we took, that, or at least, you know, make it even. Like, you know,
People
if
are
you take a dollar, leave a
humans
dollar.
at the end of the day. And not to cut you off, but like we got to get back to being humanitarians again.
Yeah.
You know, being displaced or homeless or hotel hopping could happen to anybody.
It can.
Most people don't realize that they're a drink, a fart, excuse my language, a rock throw, a bill, you know,
exactly.
away from being displaced.
I mean, let them pass one check.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you know, it could happen to the best of them, worst of them. And anyway, and it's just sad that people don't realize that you and everyone else are people's kids. They're people's children at the end of the day. You know?
I mean, and especially
they need to
like
show compassion.
People who don't have parents, you know? Like, I got a lot of people that I know that don't have family at all.
Yeah, that's awful.
You know, like their family has died off, or they've completely moved away, and it's just like they don't even have a phone to even give them a call if they wanted to, you know?
Yeah,
with all the government phones and shit out there, like I've noticed that there's a lot of people recently that don't have phones.
Yeah,
which I think is interesting. And so I think that's more of an initiative to push people out of like into this situation or out of this situation. They think, oh, you put them between a rock and a hard place, they're gonna have to choose one. And it's like, yeah, but
it comes down to people, like I said, having your credentials. 9 times out of 10, there's people willing to give out phones, but you have to have an ID.
Yep, you gotta have an
Social
ID,
security
a social.
card. You only can get 3 or 2 phones, or there's always a number or a limit, you know?
That, or they gotta have like something that shows that they got a job.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, it's pretty
like,
crazy,
give me some pay stubs or something. It's like, yeah, but what if my work is under the table?
Yeah.
You know, like I know plenty of people who actually have legitimate jobs that only get paid in cash.
Yeah, just
They're
because they might
jobs.
have warrant or whatever the case.
Yeah, I mean, or that's just how the company works.
Yeah.
Like they gotta, the way that their taxes and everything work out.
Yeah,
they can
the only way they can do it. Yeah,
like day labor doesn't do, you know,
true.
It doesn't do it the most obvious way. You know what I mean? So you get paid daily. But you know what it would cost to have a payroll like person doing checks every fucking day?
A lot of them.
So they're not paying in checks like that.
Oh yeah, no.
They're getting paid in cash. And it's like, so, but how do you prove that when you go and you try to rent an apartment? You can't.
That's awful.
You know, like, or a gig work. Like I do a lot of gig work sometimes, and like that's actually why, like, if you notice, like I got
I was looking at that.
And I just threw some pants on over top of my jeans. But like, you know, gig work is another one where like some of them aren't always, you know, like W-2 or an I-9.
Like you said,
know?
under the table.
Yeah, so you get that daily pay or whatever, and yeah, it's trackable in your bank account, or like you got to go to Stripe or whatever website. But then again, you got to have an internet connection and all this other stuff.
Yeah,
but if you're in that mode, it's still like they don't look at that as a legitimate job.
Yeah, there's always an
Freelancing isn't
obstacle.
legit.
Yeah, there's always some sort of obstacle that you guys have to go through.
Right.
Not, you know. What was I going to say? Yeah, so one of my things that I always ask, it's like one of my last questions on this amazing interview, by the way.
Thank you.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years from now?
You know, it's kind of a wild card because, like, in the most I don't want to sound like a typical, you know, like woman or whatever, but I am a woman, and even if I'm gay, like I still want kids, you know, and I'm 31.
Cool.
So like that clock, you know, is ticking, right? You know, and I will say, like, I got a stepsister who is also the same age as me, and she's married and she doesn't have any kids either. But at least she's got a way to make that happen, whereas like I'm gay and I'm not in a relationship. Like I just ended a 7-year relationship that was going towards a marriage. It's all good, you know, like we worked it out, and like we still talk, but whatever. But I mean, in 5 years, like, I mean, I don't know what kind of job that I'm gonna have, but I really hope that it's something that makes me happy instead of just being a paycheck. And I want a place, like, it doesn't have to be fantastic, but I just want something to call mine. And a partner that supports me. That's really all I'm looking for, you know, is to be sheltered and be happy. That's really it.
Well, there it is there. That had to be one of my best interviews. Literally, I'm not just saying that. That was awesome.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for this interview and update. And I mean, it was amazing. I'm speechless. You're definitely, you know, smart. You have the mental fortitude. I think this is just a bump in the road for you.
Yeah.
You're very, very articulate and smart and sound. And I can see the streets hasn't engulfed you yet.
Yeah.
Not to say that it is, but you're definitely smart. And I just want to thank you for this interview. And I want to let you know I know you can do it. And I always ask, do you mind me putting this on my social media platforms so people can be aware of what's going on out here?
Absolutely.
And understand that, you know,
Post it.
it's okay to talk to you guys. It's okay to come up and say hi and things of that nature.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to say, like, also don't judge a book by its cover, because I'll tell you, when you first walked up here, man, I was like, I don't know about this guy. I could feel it from the back. I was like, he gonna want something, but what does he want? And then I kind of felt like that you had a more genuine, you know, like approach to it. You were trying to meet all of us, you know, and get, so that kind of warmed it up a little bit. But you can't judge a book by its cover, you know.
That's the worst thing you do.
I mean, there's a lot of people that could be intimidated by you, but you're a really nice guy.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And this has been an honor and a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
Bye.